What is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I want to go over the 6 cornerbacks that I think they're going to make this team. I think the Eagles are going to keep 6, and I think I have the first 6 right here. Obviously, it's very early right now. Could be wrong about this list with 3 obvious starters and 3 more players that are making surprises right now. I think the corner room is starting to shape up a little bit. We have to get through joint practices. We have to get through preseason to see the back end of our corner position. Some news on Josh Sills, a former guard for the Eagles, or played for the Eagles before he had to go to court, and apparently he's coming back to the Eagles as of right now. So the Eagles pick up a player that, was here until some court hearings happen. And I want to talk about Christian Ellis for a minute, because I think there's a lot of good things to take out of Christian Ellis that's becoming the new linebacker that's rising with this team right now. And yeah, let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend this weekend, since the Eagles have no training camp on Saturday, and the open practice for the Philadelphia Eagles starts on Sunday. So if you guys are going, that's awesome. And if you have any clips, send them on over, because can't wait to be looking up all the highlights and stuff that happened over at open practice. You know, it's going to be a really good practice when they practice a little harder when it's in front of the fans, a little harder. They want, everyone to see what they've been doing, and they're at the link, and it's going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot of people there. There are always a lot of people at the open practices when it's just that. So very happy with that. To get into the cornerback position now, I've kind of already figured out a list right now. I think the Eagles are going to keep 6 corners, and so far from what we're hearing from camp, obviously we have Big Play Slay as a starter, James Bradbury that's out with a groin right now, but will be fine, and you have Avonte Max that's limited with a toe injury right now. Now, I think the top 3 right now are pretty obvious. I think every time, really from OTAs into training camp, Josh Jobe has really shown up to be, probably the next outside corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. Same thing as Kelee Ringo is batting down passes and doing some really good things out there. Kelee Ringo has showed, a little bit more. Each day that passes by, he's getting better, and every opportunity he gets, he's running with it, which is a really good thing, and very happy with him. Zach McPherson has really taken over that nickel corner spot really since OTAs and going into training camp as well. So I think specifically this is a pretty good group. I think, with 6 players right now, 6 cornerbacks, Greedy Williams has been really holding a lot, this entire camp. He hasn't really been doing too well. We haven't seen much of Eli Ricks at all. Hopefully, he can make some noise, for something to happen with him. And then you have, obviously, a couple others like Mario Goodrich. I know Mario Goodrich was talked about in the press conference with Sean Desai the other day, but it was really a question that was, kind of forced. I think Ruben Frank asked a question about Mario Goodrich, and Sean Desai said, he's a versatile player, he's smart, so I can't put too much into that if a beat writer is forcing a coach to talk about a player, and obviously can't say anything bad about a player, so I have to take everything into account with this. Now, really what's worrying me about the cornerback spot, and they're really not too much, but really the only issue that I'm having right now is really Avonte Maddox with the toe injury. And can somebody cut off their toe? Is there extra toes in the hospital that, that are cut off and he could just use one and stitch one up? I don't know, because it seems like this thing has been lingering and lingering. And I'm saying to myself, if he has a toe injury right now, how is he putting pressure on it? Is he, I know he's limited, but he was doing one-on-one drills with DBs and wide receivers, and he had to sit out and slow down and sit out from the drill, and he can only do so much of it. So I don't even know why he's doing it. We don't know what part of the toe it is. Is it a place where it's hurting all the time, or it's getting banged up? Does he have something covering it in his cleat? I have no idea. But it was hurt 2 times last year, and then we went into the Josiah Scott situation, which I don't want to be in that situation anymore. Now with Zach McPherson kind of competing for that spot, I feel like he's going to take it away. McPherson's been a pretty good special teamer for us. He's a 4th-round pick out of Texas Tech. I didn't really expect him to do too much his first year when he was here. But as the years, couple years have gone by, and it seems like McPherson has finally found something and could be a prime backup for that position. How good is he? I don't know, but apparently he's been doing good he was starting in that position in OTAs, or at least behind the starters as a backup in OTAs to training camp. I know Josiah Scott is kind of neck and neck with him right now, but I don't think Josiah Scott is that great. I think he only had a pick last year, but he was around a very good defense, so how much could he really do by himself? Keely Ringo's another one, even, John McMullen, I think a few guys were talking about it, that the Eagles think that Keely Ringo could be next in line when Slay leaves this team to be the starting outside corner. Now, the starting number 1 outside corner, not really sure. I have to see more. We haven't seen much of anything. Really, Sunday, we're going to see a lot of open practice. It should be a lot of fun. You have to, you have Bradbury for 3 more years, so I'm not really worried about that too much. I think you have, Slay for this year and next year, I think. I could be wrong. So you have to, make sure you're prepared. I mean, you still have a draft next year and the year after that to figure it out, and the Eagles are slated to have 11 to 12 draft picks for the 2024 NFL Draft, and God knows what moves they could make in the next couple seasons, if they feel like what they have behind here is just not enough. But like I said, everybody's name has been considered, and I feel like as of right now, this would be your starting, your 6 cornerbacks on the active roster right now. Josh Jobe has been doing really good. Josh Jobe has been showing that he doesn't, if he gets beat, he doesn't put his head down. He just goes back to work for the next play. I think one play he got beat by Devontae Smith in the back of the end zone, a tiptoe touchdown right at the back of the end zone, and then the next play he patted a ball down in front of him. So a nice deflection from Josh Jobe. So Josh Jobe is fighting, which I really do like, and I think this corner spot is looking good. I mean, it's starting to form right now, but it still needs more time. We're still very early in this process right now. And a lot more to really go over when the time comes. So the cornerback spot looks pretty legit right now, and can't wait to see more of that. Now, I want to go over Christian Ellis, and, I know we're all very excited, to see that there is a rising star at linebacker. We're not there to see anything. We're hearing, this really started, last year, I think he was cut by the 49ers, or he was waived. The Eagles picked him up middle of last season, something like that, because I didn't really know until they announced him on TV. Oh, the new player, because he made a lot of tackles. I think it was his first game was the Tennessee game, I think, where he made a bunch of tackles. The Eagles were up by multiple touchdowns, so he got some playing time, really showed off a lot, but he really showed off on special teams too. He was always making tackles. So Christian Ellis did not think he would ever have this opportunity. He never thought of himself as a starter. This is a guy that's really thought down on himself, that he would really not go anywhere, because he was really tiptoeing in the NFL last year. He said he was kind of tiptoeing around. It was from his press conference a couple days ago, something like that, where he was saying he wasn't really focusing on being a starter. He was like, is there a real possibility going into this offseason that something could happen? And it looks like that, since really OTAs. And I think he only had playing time. He only was with the first group of linebackers with Nakobe Dean and OTAs, because Nick Morrow was dealing with a little bit of an injury from what I read, if I could remember that. But going into this linebacker position, there's a lot of questions. There's questions with depth. There's questions now. Nakobe Dean's missing a lot of time. And sometimes when guys miss a lot of time, or you give guys other opportunities, just like when we go into preseason games, you're giving a lot of guys opportunities because a lot of starters, veterans aren't playing. Bradbury probably won't play. Slay won't play. So there's going to be guys, veteran guys are not going to be playing in these games, which giving these other guys opportunity to do something, which is great, kind of test them out a little bit. I think, Christian Ellis has been kind of thrown into the fire a little bit, and that's what you have to do with some of these players sometimes. And it's really shown out in his pass coverage. Can shoot the gap really well, really fast, can cover an area, an area really nicely. He's got quick agility. He's got quick turnaround speed. He looks very athletic. From what I'm hear from everybody, that's what everybody's saying, that he's all over the field and he's always making plays and he's getting his hands on the football, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? So could we have a rising star at linebacker? Or, and this is I'm not saying this to bump him down or anything, or is he just the better of the bad linebackers that we have? That's what I kind of wonder right now when it comes to this linebacker spot. And, time will tell. Howie Roseman's always working the phones. There's rumors about a safety trade. There could be a move in the works that we don't know about. And obviously, the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signing didn't happen until right before the season started, and he didn't really flash too much his first few games until he got used to what he was doing. first year playing as safety. So with Christian Ellis, I think he's starting to realize that, he could actually turn into something here, and you never know what could happen. So I'm not going to say that this is fool's gold or this is fake or we're believing something that they're hyping up that he's something that he's really not. But I'm hoping that, there is some change here and we get a really good player out of this. I really do. As much as we don't put money into this position, like how many more years are you not going to put? Like running back, I could totally understand because it's so devalued, but I feel like the linebacker position is definitely like, look what we did last year. We had 2 linebackers that couldn't cover. I like TJ Edwards a lot last year. I like TJ Edwards really since he was undrafted, and Schwartz, he was really flashing, and Schwartz, Jim Schwartz would just never use him at all. You know what I mean? So, Kaiser White was not great. I felt like Nakobe Dean should have played some games last year. When Kaiser White had an ankle injury one week, I was like, oh, let's see if Nakobe Dean gets some full time. I don't wish injury upon nobody, but I was excited because there was a big chance Nakobe Dean was going to play, but Kaiser White ended up playing. He felt better. So I was kind of sad about that. But, you let TJ Edwards get paid. You let Kaiser White go to the Cardinals. So, both guys are gone, and it's a revamp of, they went into this offseason saying, okay, we have Nakobe Dean as our prime starter. That was the plan going into this year. But Nicholas Morrow is quiet. Nicholas Morrow isn't doing nothing. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard his name. And there's a lot of guys I don't hear. Okay. Sometimes not hearing a name is good. If it comes to an offensive lineman or something like that, you don't hear his name too much. It's not a bad thing, especially when you're watching an actual regular season game. If you don't hear about an offensive lineman too much, it's a good thing. That means he's not doing anything wrong. And if they, obviously say something about him, it's mostly a good thing once in a while. But when it comes to certain players, like I think Nicholas Morrow is just going down. Ellis is going up. Dean is out right now, so we're going to find out what happens here. I honestly don't know. Still kind of a little crazy, but the time comes, we'll figure it out. So that is the news on Christian Ellis and what I kind of think about the whole situation right now with him. And hopefully, I hope he's a gem, man. I really hope we're not being tricked. We're not being fooled. I'm hoping so. Now, the third bit of news is the Josh Sills news. If you guys remember, Josh Sills was, obviously blamed for kidnapping and rape. I think his wife, or I don't even know the whole story, but that's what this was at the end of last year. And then the charges came, and it looks like it's been acquitted of the charges. So the Eagles put out a statement saying that they've been evaluating or been watching over this whole situation as it's been unfolding. Josh Sills is a guard for the Eagles. If anybody knew, he is coming back to the Philadelphia Eagles. And he will be on the active roster. And this was said by the Philadelphia Eagles on their website, on their Twitter, on their X, whatever you want to call it now, on their site. So definitely check that out. So he's coming back. So more depth for the Philadelphia Eagles at offensive line. I think there was obviously a plan in motion. And I watched this whole thing. I actually watched it. There was like a 40-second clip of saying guilty or not guilty on the charges. And, he wasn't really flinching or saying, oh, thank God. It wasn't like that. He was just, he knew he was innocent and probably is. It just sucks because he's not a big time player. He's not making a lot of money. You know how many, the legal fees and what he's got to spend. And, he's not making money. He's making good money for a practice squad player or a backup active roster starter, whatever. But, he doesn't have the, it's just crazy, man. The world is nuts. But so he's coming back. So another offensive lineman coming back for the Philadelphia Eagles on top of what we have here. If you guys remember, Jeff Stoutland did say, like, if you're a part of my room, you have to know multiple positions, or in other words, know multiple positions, which I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of teams don't do that. There's some teams that do, but that's why I said this offensive line room right now, and then with getting Josh Sills back is great. And there was times where he played really well. It's been a nice backup player for us. Could play one of two guard spots. So now you have a guy that could play left guard and right guard on top of it, which is really good. On top of, I think, the most versatile group of offensive linemen we've had in a while that could play multiple positions. So they're moving Steen. They had Steen at left tackle with second team. They had him because Kelsey, I think, took a rest day yesterday. So they had Tylersteen at right guard. They had Cam Jurgens at center. Jurgens can play, obviously, center, right guard. Driscoll could play right guard, right tackle. Steen could play left tackle, right tackle. The physicality to play right guard. You know, Dennis Kelly can play both tackle spots plus guard. He's played guard before. I mean, it's nuts, man. And you know, if anything happens, you know, you got players that can play multiple positions, but can you play these positions well? That's going to be the question. And I think, yes, I trust Jeff Stoutland with this offensive line. Like, yeah, I mean, that's how much I trust him. I trust him as much as if, you know, somebody was having a baby and having to take the baby out, it would be him, and I would trust him with it. Like, it sounds stupid, but that's how much I trust him with this offensive line. Seriously. So that's pretty much about it. That was pretty much the news I kind of want to talk about. I kind of want to talk about the corner room, how it's kind of developing a little bit. Christian Ellis at linebacker. Is it fool's gold, or is there something there as a gem in him? And Josh Sills is coming back to the Eagles on the active roster. More offensive line depth. So let me know what you guys think about all the news. And what do you think about the cornerback room? What do you think? Who do you think will make it? How many cornerbacks do you think they'll make? Cornerbacks do you think they will keep on the roster? You guys let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Chicks, what up? Follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.